Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Oops, motion carries. Public comments? Anybody from the public wish to speak about anything on the agenda? Okay. Comments need to approve 1/5/26 regular minutes.
So moved. I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oops. Motion carries. Discussion possible action on employee appreciation.
One is most familiar with this, because you've dealt with it before, so I'm gonna turn it over to you.
We had a committee meet, and basically we had, all kind of agreed that there's a gift program that I sent you guys all emails so you could click the links. The website is pretty user friendly. Shipping's included and it's no cost to the county until it's used. So, it's not like an upfront fee or anything like that. So it can be flexed. So if you have somebody that you want to give a lower monetary value gift, you can adjust it. However, there's a spreadsheet you fill out once a year. And then before that month's up where they're due, they'll reach out to whoever, HR, payroll, to make sure that the employee is still employed with the county, before they send the information to them to get their selected gift that of their choosing. So, I'm forgetting. So you said, put that amount in the spreadsheet. And if you have somebody who's been here, because we do have some longevity employees, say 30, 40 years, if you wanted to spend 75 based on their years of employment, if you put a scale together, take budge. But yeah, it would all just go into the spreadsheet and then they could go select. There is a and that's free. So. Spreadsheet, so yeah, if they wanted to send it through the committee, that would be fine. Sure.
She'll have all that. Service.
So, was this for every year, or would this be like a 5-year, 10-year?
Tama County t-shirt or sweat, like it's a purchase, stuff like that. Okay. Yep, I was just trying to like, yeah, like what kind of things are in like a cup, like from here or like a.
What's their name over here across the street?
Right.
Ultimately, you show me that.
They'll give
This
us
is
another,
just starting, yeah.
just something to think about too. We all need stuff to wear and things to drink out of too to support all of those things, so.
Action, is there any recommendation from you guys and what we should do? I mean, as far as like the motion. If you want to start with this, that's fine with us. I mean,
But we need to get like dollar values figured out, right? I guess I would team maybe and get input from department heads to put together like values and then maybe bring that back would be my thought, I guess.
for like this budget. When we know how many are at 40 years, get our 30 years. Okay, we can put a dollar value on it. Because we like the sentiment.
You did not say who she was.
I don't know, Stacy with public health.
Stacy?
Yep.
I think right now in discussions, my thought process, discussions fine for now, and then bring it back when we have a little more input.
When we have more numbers, I guess we'll be there. There are more.
Thank you guys for working on it though.
Thank you. Yeah.
Having a team together. Good.
I think it had done right. Engineer.
Morning.
Morning.
Last week, we did some more, rock hauling on 150th Street up there. We had kind of done from the east of the bridge. But, last week it was pretty, well, just got warm again, so we were able to put some more rock down. West, getting reimbursed for that. And then, we've just been brush cutting last week. Continue to do that, did some near Blood River Lake. Usually our tractor bars on various trails. So, when the weather, the, roads have been frozen up for us to get out there, so. Want to be tearing out the edge, so. And depending on weather, just because I wasn't sure. I just hate putting what we're gonna do next week when I don't really know fully the weather, but we will be stockpiling rock at Cherry and Chelsea today and on the rest of the week. We'll be getting those stockpiles going, so that's all I got for this week, so.
Good. Questions for Chris?
Just who's reimbursing them? Is it
It would be Michael's.
Michael?
Okay. Not Alliance, but it would be the contractor.
Right. I know of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks.
Andy, you know, no. Okay.
They're good, that. Where?
You guys meet for.
Yeah, please. Right. So what is left?
Yeah.
So I have first spot.
I do. I don't need. Okay, any discussion regarding Old Middle School with STC Superintendent? John Kane is here.
Yeah.
John.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so, thanks for having me, John.
Guys, we got a lot of side conversations going on. We're trying to hold a meeting here. Go ahead.
Thank you. John Kane, Superintendent, North and South Tama, here regarding the South Tama Old Middle School. Understanding there may be an interest and just wanting to pursue that opportunity, to see if the Board of Supervisors has an interest in, the old middle school. We could arrange for tours. We could arrange for getting you, details on the buildings,
size and class size and things like that, but really just here to start a conversation. Sheriff is here as well. Wondering if there is that level of interest, how strong that level of interest is, and working together, collaborating on some of those next steps to do more digging into the possibility of the county having a need for the old middle school. So really here just to field questions, start a conversation, probably is it feasible? I think that's one thing we should find out, but just really knowing that the board wants to pursue all avenues to continue to use the old middle school as a viable site for something. We know from the derecho that we put quite a bit of money into the building. It's got a new roof. So one of their goals is to just, if we can use the building, let's use the building versus dumping quite a bit of money into it to tear it down. Currently, we're in the middle of doing an asbestos study, and then getting folks to remove any asbestos in the building because it does have some asbestos. But a large portion of that was removed when the derecho occurred. So really just wanting to start a conversation, seeing if we have an interest, mutual interest.
And for context, it came up in conversation about 2 weeks ago. You know, John was talking about the school and I brought up the fact that obviously we're, needing to do something for the jail, the current jail, and then it just kind of gained some traction with the conversation about the old school. And I'm not entirely sure, I'm not a construction guy, but I'm not entirely sure what anything looks like as far as renovating that building, make it into another 100-year-old building. But obviously we had that conversation and it's something you should obviously talk about and then see if it's even feasible.
So I would like to see the inside, well, I'd like to see the entire building. So attic, basement, I want to see everything.
Not sure there's an attic, but we'll get you.
Regardless, I want to look at the entire structure. I mean, sitting here talking about stuff doesn't do us any good. I need to see it first myself, before I can talk intelligently about it. So you offered a tour. I don't know how many people would be interested in physically going and looking at the building, but before we vote on and make decisions, I think we need to do diligence and look at it. See if there's anything that jumps out, yes or no. I would like to see the.
That was my thought too. It'd be good to get details on it, get, what studies, like you said, asbestos being done, what's been done, what's the structure. With being on the Economic Development Board, I can bring that to Marshalltown Chamber, see what their thoughts are. I think the more people you have, look at it, understand the viable, is it a viable option or not? So yeah, I think just as much as you can give us for history and reports that have been done, I think that would be helpful too.
Okay.
We could pass that on.
I would definitely be willing to take a look at it too, physically.
Yeah. Do you guys have a rule that only 3 of you can, or 2 of you can be together at the same time?
But we're deliberating. Yes.
Okay.
Only 2 at a time.
Okay.
So if we all went together,
I
Karen can post it.
And I can go with you.
Okay, well, we can look at calendars and you want to come along for the, right?
Somebody's
We
got.
need to get a date and time though, because he's a very busy man. We have to get him scheduled in there.
We'll make sure it's happening when there's nothing illegal going on.
So now heads up.
Okay.
That'll come.
Yeah, so as Casey stated, we had a very informal conversation based on probably a news article that was written. And then I'm part of that development committee and we furthered that conversation. Then I saw it in the paper and I was like, hey, maybe this is something we can continue to pursue. So yeah, we will definitely get you as much information as we have and set up a tour date sooner rather than later.
You always have that. I mean, it's an older building, and if it's structurally fine, I mean, you can make it pretty nice. Cause you always have that saying, you put a makeup on 100-year-old building, you still have a 100-year-old building, but if it's structurally fine, and you can do it feasibly money-wise and save money on a new building. One, we wouldn't be able to build a building that size. So that might be in our advantage. Maybe we could house more out of the county. You know, you might have more jail area. You gotta get the ups and the downs, you know, positives and the negatives.
Absolutely. Well, that was kind of some of my knee-jerk reactions were obviously it's a 100-year-old building. I don't know. I tried to stay up on all the, the bond issues and renovating that building. But obviously the middle school moved out of that building into a newer building. So that would be something that, okay, what were the reasons why we didn't stay? But also, I look at it from the standpoint, it is a 100-year-old building, but what can we do to make it another 50 years, 100-year building? But yeah, I think that at this point, any option would be needs to be looked at, and 3 floors. Kitchen. Yeah, and a gymnasium. Would you have any use for the gymnasium?
Oh, sure, could use some exercise, maybe. That's for one at Iowa State hats. That's it. We have to get a dress code too, by the way, for sheriff bring it out. Gymnasium, and we can, you're dividing things, are you building walls or you're taking walls out, you can always make it viable space, you know?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is I attended a meeting some time ago, and it involved the community of Ankeny. And they talked about how their school district and county and city really started working together. So I was just wondering, I was just thinking inside my head, the city has indicated some interest in a gymnasium, possibly a new gymnasium, but could there be a collaborative effort where it's a multi-use purpose building and the city's using it and the county's using it, and even potentially the school district in some capacity? But we'll start, like David mentioned, it's hard to talk about if you don't really know what you're looking for, and then planning the steps from there. But I do appreciate your interest and your willingness to pursue this opportunity. Thank you.
Find it appropriate that Dirk's phone went off to money talks. Any collaborative efforts certainly would be welcome, but we wouldn't be the sole funders of a project like this. I think that the county has infrastructure needs. We have office needs for people. What we had talked about before just going and looking at it, we don't even know what we're looking at. Having experts go in and say, if we're going to use it for a jail, what are the height requirements that the jail, every agency has parameters that they're under, I don't know, DIA or who monitors the jails and put out those parameters for specific space that each inmate would have to have or offender.
Well, yeah, it's laid out in code, and then there's a chief jail inspector for the state that would obviously give the final blessing on any plans or anything that would be, against Iowa code or, administrative code.
They have their rigs and then are the ceilings. Okay, the way they are, how much would go into creating that space for that? And then we have public health, their offices are needing to expand. We have the desire to implement some mental health programs within the county. The mental health advocate right now doesn't have space to the office. If we want to hire an IT guy, we don't know where that person would be office at. So we do have infrastructure needs. We are bursting at the seams. So certainly we would have multi 911, the EMA, all of those have been discussed in the last couple of years, but let's get together and get something that works for everybody. And I think that a bigger existing structure, so long as it can be retrofitted without spending lots more money than new construction, would make lots. And where we would be, we did bring this up to the economic development director with our new place in Marshalltown, and he has some connections, and it would be of they would be available to kind of do what he called a tabletop exercise to kind of pencil everything out before getting in and paying big money for an architect to go in and kind of, do that anyway. So maybe that would be a good first step and include him and any of his people that he did.
And in case if we want to look at that code, we could go in and decide right away if it's feasible.
How many floors are there? There elevators in there?
There's an elevator.
There's a lot of factors that would go into it, but first off, I need to see it, just
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I think that's the appealing thing, like Mark said, the appealing thing is 3 floors. 3 floors, and I mean, you can turn it into whatever you want with a renovation.
Thank you.
So out of all of this, we're not voting on anything, but we do need some plan for getting a tour set up sooner rather than later.
My people were all terrific.
That works for me, thank you.
Just plan one now.
Other people present? That'd be fine with me. I wouldn't
I
mind.
always have to talk to somebody, an engineer of some sort, or like Marty, Sean, Weavers, and whatever, anybody has structural knowledge and stuff like that too.
You would like them to be with us?
Rather than wasting everybody's time, yeah. Make it a one-time walk through with a lot of information. That's what, I mean, we could go look at it. Yeah.
Into the economic development. So, yes, we could set, we can even let that maybe a little the time that he maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna be around all day too, so.
We can be pretty flexible on our end, so if you guys find a date that works for all of your people, or shoot us a couple days, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Discussion of possible action to approve updated members of the Cleveland County Essential Services Advisory Council. And
Julie had sent that from the council.
This was updated. Looks like that was correct. This,
No, I saw it.
approved the whole thing?
Yes.
I'll make that motion to approve the updated members of the Tama County Essential Services Advisory Council.
Second it.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion of possible action to move next week's meeting into the holiday, we move it to Tuesday.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Seconded, to go to Tuesday at 8:30.
Yep.
Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Discussion possible action on contract with Windstream for backup internet.
So we have a contract in place that was put in place in 2021. For us to get out of that contract early is going to cost us, what was 5,000?
5,965.75
To get out of it?
to get out of it.
If we stay with it, and we're not using it, by the way, it would cost us
That I don't-
8,000
yeah.
and change. So, okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we pay it off so we don't keep paying it anymore. But also as a notice in that motion. I maybe don't want a part of the motion, but we need to make sure we're not entering 5-year contracts. When it comes to software, hardware and so forth. Because just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it is when technology goes. And so
So this is a 5-year contract?
it was a 5-year contract signed back in 21. So in order for us to get out of it, it's like that copier back there, to get out of paying for that for the rest of the time, is like, well, $18,000. We can't, in our budgeting world, we can't keep buying stuff or leasing stuff for 5 years when technology advances a lot faster. So, but anyway, rather than to pay another $3,000, my motion is we pay it off. I'm still waiting for the Windstream lady to get back.
I'll second.
Good. Motion second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion and possible action to appropriate remaining budget funds to zoning and departments. Laura's here. You want to?
Actually, I was the one that put it on,
Okay.
so I noticed, I noticed when I was doing your report for the last month that she was going to be over her, what was apportioned to her. So I'm just asking that you give her that remaining 10% of her budget to spend for the rest of this fiscal year.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved in second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's done. The discussion of possible action on the zoning quarterly report.
For the portions, it's a resolution, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that is a resolution.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm just
you.
looking at it.
Thank you, Heather.
This is the one we're on.
Is it?
Yes, it is a
One
resolution.
dash 12 dash 2026.
To give her the 10%.
To do the
10%.
Oh,
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yep. So Hilmer,
Aye.
Turner,
Aye.
Knibble,
Aye.
Dolan,
Okay.
Kuka.
Aye.
Thank you.
It's- Yes. It was, put the number on it.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, so.
Yep, sorry.
1-12-2026.
A.
All right. Now. Zoning quarter. That is right after that. Need a motion. Second.
I'll make a
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Anything you want to say, Laura? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And sheriff's. Your in report. And then I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Reporter's quarterly report.
I'll make a motion to accept the quarterly report for the recording.
Moved.
I'll second it.
And seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 2 minutes. Bids.
You want to do the claims?
Will be the fastest, yeah.
Claims.
So we have claims in the amount of 185, 609, period, 17. So $185,609.17. And I motion we approve that amount.
Second. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Well, thank you for you. I'm writing the article today.
That's
the Mike's not here.
That was the Mike's probably a little bit forward.
We'll find out. We're in the bus at Ronnie Hill.
The door was open, Casey.
And this.
That's for Dean. He'll be looking for that.
So which one was this? This was for the,
I can take it to that.
this is for the pasture?
And they're over. Are you over? Take a civil.
So
Last few
it's
down.
not quite 9 o'clock. It's one more minute.
Sunny the side.
I guess there's. All right.
And Carrie, my understanding is they had to submit a sealed bid in
By
order to be
8:30.
included. They can't just live bid.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's 9 o'clock. All right. I'm going to open the sealed bid for the pasture. We only have one. I don't believe anybody voted or wanted to do both the cropland and the pasture. Was this for 3 years or was this for 1 year?
It's 3 year, both
for
are for
3 years.
3.
So we have a bid from, I'm gonna mess up her name, Annette Kotouche. I wouldn't have said Kotouche. At $190 an acre, that's $1,900 per year. So that'd be for 3 years. This is the only bid we have. So I guess I should make a motion that we accept.
So what's,
You wanna wait?
wait until you get.
All right. Okay, I have one from Rick Hopper for the 3 year lease. 121 acres at $37,000 a year. Shannon Svoboda, $300 per acre, just the cropland. So I've do that. It was 120. 120 acres, 36.3. 36.3. I'm going to write that on the bottom of this. 36,300. Yep, thank you. Okay, this is from John Murdy and Paul Murdy. Postcast rent, $306 an acre, $37,026. So right now, John and Paul Murdy's bid is the highest by $26.
Together is 1,900 plus the 3,706.
Sorry,
The top bid for
Pasture.
the pasture was 1,900, or the only bid for the
Yeah.
pasture was 19.
yeah.
Together.
39,000.
What are we getting at?
So I believe we said the minimum
We
bid.
budget 10,000 for
I know you budgeted some for some fence work for the pasture, but I don't know how much you guys put in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't our statement say they had a bid a minimum of 200?
Yeah, I have to.
That was the minimum bid if my memory serves me correctly. This is 190. I think it was for both of them. If you
Is
look
that in the
at,
paper? Is that in the? What?
it's okay. Walk us
SA,
down, so we have to-
Well, and I ran past you guys, right?
What's that?
You guys approved that for me to publish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So the question is, do
We don't have to reject all bids? I mean,
We have land there that we're getting $37,000. Essentially $38,000. Sometimes $26 a year. Many acres. We lock in for 3 years. We have infrastructure needs that we could sell that property. Not a great availability of property in Morrisdale in Tama County. And so I think that it's time we probably look at some. We really need to reject the bids and look at some. We started talking about that last year. I think there was some interest, there were some concerns. The concern was about the gas line that runs through there. Talked to the guy, or because of the expansion of the landfill, that was never an issue. Talked to Dave's landfill, he said that they got their next one planned ready anyway. The amount of money we have coming in off that property as opposed to what it's worth, I think that it definitely is worth looking at selling that and using that money to go toward renovating something like maybe this will over the jail, or we've got infrastructure needs and we don't have cash to do that.
Right.
So this would be without raising taxes, going to the property taxpayer to increase levies and that kind of stuff. So
what is land going for an acre right now for?
all depends on what kind of land it is and where it's at. Depends who wants it.
I know, but I mean, just a ballpark.
Yeah.
15.
Is that right out there?
Probably.
Well, probably not out there, but in the ballpark.
About 15,000 or 1,500.
Thousand.
Okay, that's what.
That's all looked in now. So
Yeah.
you're looking at over $1 million.
Yeah. So are you making a motion? Or you just
Sort of the
bidding process?
sort of discussion.
Yeah. That would lock us in, this would lock us in for 3 years, assuming the highest bid was the one that currently highest bid would win.
And my question too, why did we do 3 years? Like usually it's a 1 year.
No, it's usually 3 years. There was an error in the past where they didn't advertise it. It's supposed to.
I just mean like personally, like every year, it's like it continues, but usually you have to kind of, do they want to keep giving it to you or not? Like you're not locked in for 3 years.
But this 3 years is what was in paid.
That's my only concern. I don't know whether to sell it or not right now, but 3 years is, it ties us down for 3 years. I like 1 year notes, I guess. Has it typically been 1 year?
It's always been 3. It's just because of the error
There
last
was an
year.
error, it wasn't
Got it.
published like it should have been, and
Okay.
so there was a 1 year catch up. So
We didn't want to, if we wanted to sit on the money, if we sell it, the interest that we'd get off the $1 million would be more than $30,000.
So right now, this is renting it out. Trying to think of other options, you know. Custom, crop share, you know, if anything else would.
So
Oh,
you're probably gonna have to do it for a year if we're gonna sell it, because someone just will get off on this year. We can still sell it, if we decide to sell it, we can still sell it with the crop on it, and it just terminates the lease at the end.
I
See,
see, 1st of
here.
September, I think is the right.
Well, first one.
No, what I meant was that we have to announce it by the 1st of September.
Is it till the first of the contract we do?
Well, not only if you did a 1 year contract, right?
So the question is, we've put it out for 3 years. If we accept the bid for 1 year with our intention of selling it. And how we would proceed, because we've got a potential contract. The only way we could do it was we'd have to reject all bids, start over with a 1 year contract. The intention was sell.
That's the consensus. I get what everybody's opinion
I
is.
agree to sell. I just think we should do 1 year and let's talk about it more. I guess that, I didn't know that was gonna come up today, so I guess that was just,
I did
I
not,
need to think about things and.
3 years is roughly 120,000, right? Just shoot it to 40,000 something.
So I guess the rationale, I like the idea of selling it, but I also agree with Heather. I want to in my head a couple more times, maybe while we're going through the budget process.
What's our timeline? Like, when is the current lease? Like, when do we have to,
March.
March the first.
so March, we need to have that done by.
Well, we have to also have enough lead time for people who report to bid on it. So, you know, like I said, I don't know if we would be able to get a seller between now and March, or buyer rather.
So we will,
If you want to look at doing infrastructure, where are you gonna get $1 million?
I know, I agree. I'm not saying no, I'm just.
That raises.
Right, no, I agree. I think selling is probably the smart thing to do. Question is process. Between
So
now,
you probably first need a motion to not accept any of the bids. For the 3-year contract,
right,
not to accept any of those bids.
right,
And then make a motion to rent it for 1 year with the backdrop of selling. So we have, somebody can get crops in on it this spring. But are we on the same page?
if we want the selling in there, or we just can for now do that, we can always make that motion later too. Because if we re-put in the paper before, like, would we be able to get all this done before March 1st to get put in the paper?
You should.
More bids.
That would have to we do that, get to that point where I just explained, that'll have to go back in the paper.
yes.
For the 1 year, correct.
Without repeating myself, I make that motion.
So we're going to
We're
reject all bids.
rejecting all, let's just do that as one bid. I make a motion that we reject all 3-year,
Crop and pasture land.
yes, bids.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So it's one motion, that's it, right?
That's one
Okay.
motion just for
Because
that.
at first you said one, so I'm like, all of it together.
Are you gonna do your other one?
Let's
Well, I
do
gotta
that
take
one
this one
first.
Okay. We moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would your second motion be to advertise for a 1 year lease for the crop and pasture land?
Yes. What she said, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Are you all okay with the motion?
But I think we should have some discussion. So,
Include the $200.
well,
That was one.
well, the question is, if we rejected all these bids, we entertain them for 1 year. Without, or do we have to, we would have to republish it? I think you publish it, yeah. Okay, I'm fine. I just want to make sure we talk about
No,
that.
we published it, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You good now? I'm good with that. All right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Put that back up for bid for 1 year. And as we're going through the budgeting process.
And you will put that in as soon as
We'll work on that
possible.
as soon as we get done today.
And I'd like to apologize to the guys that showed up because of the bids that were out there. Thank you for coming in. I don't want to waste your time. Thank you.
Again, what he said. Thanks for coming in, guys.
If you guys got thoughts or feedback, let us know. Please, like, reach out to one or two of us. You know, it'd be nice to understand. You guys are the farmers. You're the ones that be nice to know your feelings.
We're gonna have public comment in just a minute. Let's get through just a couple more items here. Okay. Discussion possible action on employment separation agreement.
Oh, you want to do the wages thing first?
We're done.
Oh,
Oh, I already had it checked off. We did. All right. Discussion possible action on the wages for FY 27 for elected, non-elected, non-union employees. Our union employees will go through their collective bargaining agreements. They're all under negotiation this year. They all three. And Paul is leading those efforts. The rest, usually we try to give some instruction to the department heads for what they put into their budgets, wage increases. reached out to a couple of different entities, have looked on websites. There's not a lot of people that have said anything yet. The CPI is set for January at 2.6% and 2.8% in February. If arbitration entered during those months, that's the maximum that we would pay. Be required to pay off. For the cost of living adjustment, so. That's the advice we have. We don't have any solid numbers. The numbers that Karen put together in December shows us a modest increase of just about maybe $80,000, I think, over last year's budget. And so we're probably going to be restricted to what we had last year with our budgets with not much increase through departments. And so we look to cut things within the department and then shuffle things around if we're going to do wage increases. Did put together a budget memo with instructions on it.
You need another copy, Mark?
Another copy.
No, I have it somewhere.
That's right. It looks like a piece of white paper with like.
You can look at my copy. I have it right here.
There it is. You got it. All right. Essentially sending out saying budget growth is about 0%. So try to keep within that with your figuring your budgets. We have a couple of preliminary budgets that just did one line item went from about 230 to 300 and some $1,000. Thought that was way too high. We're gonna need to be serious when we get into our budget hearing. We don't need to waste our time. Cost of living adjustment would be, the placeholder would be 0 for now. If we find that we have some money that we can use, we would certainly raise that. Ending fund balances will need to be 25% of departments in line with our budgeting principles. We won't be having these 100% ending fund balances and looking at raising any kind of budgets. Those things will be cut. Expectation, the departments are encouraged to be reasonable, make cuts where possible. As there will be no increase from last year's budget. The law is clear. House File 718 requires us to stay within our budgeting principles from the year before, with a 2% maximum 3%. The formulation goes by how we our valuations, taxable valuation for the entire county. That didn't increase by much. If we not be able to do this, we'll go to a zero-based budgeting model. We could do that just to begin with. We're going to give some levity and hope that the department heads will understand and come in under their targeted budget from last year, even after the cuts. Need a motion in a second if you want me to send that out. If you have other guidance, I certainly am open to it, but just from what we're seeing, the private sector is freezing their wages for wage increases. Cities are looking at freezes. I don't know what the school is doing yet. The legislature don't know yet what they have said. They're just starting today. I haven't even heard any of the initial reports. Reached out to even Toledo had to start talking about it. Tama sounded like they were doing freezes on there. They're increasing.
Definitely a good place to start. So I'll make that motion at least. Go ahead and have Mark, the chairman, send out this memo to the department heads.
I'll second it. Okay, the move to second. Further discussion?
Just for discussion, I mean, it's not an easy topic for any of us. I mean, we would love to give employees what the, when it comes to living and give raises, and it's definitely not easy. Just kind of what we've come about in our legislation is going to look at property tax reform, really hard, starting with the legislation that just started today. So there's a lot of different things going on there. I know like John Deere's not giving raises here, and I used to work there and we always got big raises just like here. So it's hard where it's never easy. And I know, our values may be lower, but when you don't have the funds, what do you do? So that's like Mark said, kind of put on the department heads if they want to kind of figure out how to run their departments and it's just, where we're at, I guess, unfortunately, but definitely not easy.
And the across the board, cost of living adjustments are really hard because I think people are just think that it's built into the budget, but you got the legislature and taxpayers saying, don't raise my taxes. The number one issue in Iowa politics right now is property tax relief. Everything that we can do to kind of keep the line at least to where it was last year without having any increases, I think will make the legislature happy. However, we also have employees and department heads that want to recognize that our employees are valuable to us. And so how do you manage that? And so I think if you start out with a 0% increase, if there's anything that we can find within there to cut, maybe reward the employees as we go through department by department, we'll do that.
So retaining, I mean, there's all kinds of things to think about. I mean, we have good employees. We want to keep good employees. But we're just, like Heather said, you can't squeeze the money tree. You don't live no leaves on it, so.
And I have a notion that moving forward, we would base our pay raises based on merit, not on everybody gets the same amount anyway, because the person who doesn't pull their weight gets the same amount as a high performer, and I think we should reward high performers. But zero-based budgeting is the smartest way to go. In the past, I saw this in the military. People wasted money selling or buying and spending at the last minute, so their budget would go up. Don't play that game.
We can't.
We can't. It was stupid then, and I think moving forward, you have to look at zero-based budgeting. What do you really need? And we make decisions based on that. That's how I look at my house budget. Why the county's budget wouldn't be the same thing. And I also don't want to see our levies go up. I mean, our goal was to lower them when we ran for office. So I think we need to hold the line. So I think this is a smart move. I know we've got a meeting this week to see where other numbers are around this. I like this idea.
All those in favor say aye. Bring that in. Discussion and possible action on employment separation agreement. Just entered into with our HR. Negotiated. It has a lot of writing that's concerning Tim Dolezal. Through our restructuring process, he was not selected for one of the two road foreman positions. This would entitle him to his payout for his vacation and sometimes as well as some sick. And that is structured within the agreement, it does become a public document. Sign it or effect now becomes a public document, so just need a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion that accept this agreement, allowing you to sign.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. With that signature of,
We don't have any more discussion yet, but just for the public's knowledge, Tim's already signed it.
yeah. So. New business. We'll go to the public comments to me, so.
Well, I do have a new business. Public comments first. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Karen.
Did you move next week's meeting to Tuesday? I
Yes.
did not hear that from here. Okay. And I appreciate all the discussion up there. That land sale thing will be contested, you know, it'll be a hot topic in this county. So whoever suggested a 1 year and then dealing with that probably spot on, because we who've been here for a lifetime know that this is going to be a pretty deep topic. And then person either has to laugh or cry. So everybody that wants a family picture, now's your time.
I think there was a question behind. You still have your question?
I was just curious if you say
get posted to rebid. Process.
Yeah, Karen,
Contact the office.
Yep, so I'll get it in the paper again. And then we'll post it out here on the board.
and you have to, what's the timeline on that? You have to get it in by Friday or for Monday or what? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to get it in by this Friday for next Friday's publication, so I'll get it in so it'll be published next Friday.
This
This will be the 23rd, it'll get published.
What will the new due date be roughly?
Let's say it'll be in April. I'll have to look at the calendar to see which date, but it should be.
April?
Wait, excuse me,
I was gonna say we're at.
February.
So
Yeah,
March-
let's
March 1st.
get down, so yeah, it'll be in February.
So
So they need
I
to,
mean,
re-
it'll-
you will need to rebid once it comes out in the paper for a 1 year instead of a 3 year.
we're looking at a early February deadline and that'll be in the paper.
Might be.
Right.
I have to be middle February, would be my guess.
How long does it have to be published?
I don't think there's an actual time frame of when it has to be published, but I know last time we published it 2 weeks in a row. So it's up to you guys how long you want to hang out there.
And we have everybody in this room that submitted a bid, so I guess, what is 2 weeks
Just a
or a
week,
week, or are you guys okay with just a week, being you all know about it, or?
I think a week's sufficient.
Do
Okay.
it right now.
Right? Just call in here if you're unsure and Karen can direct you on exact due dates, you don't miss it.
Any other comments?
Regarding the pasture land, a lot of pastures are running for $100 an acre, so I know it was suggested $200 an acre. Be careful so that you get no bids on that pasture. Be careful of that. Because there is not a whole, you can't put a big cow herd on 5 acres. And nobody's got horses anymore. Careful.
Most other comments? No, go ahead.
For supervisor reports, just an update, I attended my first Marshtown Chamber Board meeting last Thursday at the Marshtown Area Chamber of Commerce office in Marshalltown. It was very refreshing and welcoming to be at that meeting. I'll wait till everybody gets this out. All right, so I'll repeat that. I attended my first Marshalltown Chamber Board meeting last Thursday at the Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce office in Marshalltown. It was a very refreshing and welcoming meeting to be at. There were around 20 people gathered in the room, 2 online. 3/4 of the group were private business owners from around the county and city, so that was kind of neat. We did roundtable, and it was just all the different employers kind of had not shouldn't say all of them, but a selected group of the larger employers, representatives were there. The remainder were chamber employees, 1 county board of supervisors from Marshall County, since they also do the county in Marshall. And then 1 person from the newspaper. The new employee hired as the Tama County Economic Development employee will start the end of the month here around January 26th with the chamber. So once they start, we'll get the individual's name and contact information. They'll take the first year will be getting them up to speed, visit community members, businesses, cities, chambers in Tama County. The meetings will be held monthly that I'll go to. And then Mark also is an alternate / he's kind of on it with me. So we could both be at the meeting since we're a 5-member board. So they have a Zoom and an in-person option. Today, Mark and I, as we mentioned, will be meeting with John Hall for a board orientation to learn more about financials, budget, how meetings run, provide a copy of the bylaws to us and the current strategic plan. So I'm also compiling a list of contacts for the Tama County Advisory Council. So if you guys could please send me additions, I sent it to Karen this morning. So take a look through it. This is obviously, the ones I knew in advance from our last meeting, but if you guys had other people you invited that could not be there, please let me know, like someone like her, some of your area especially, or if you guys had other people. Let's make sure we get them in here because this is going to go to the new employee that's going to represent Tama County, and it'd be good if they have the movers and shakers in each community, or at least like this, the city clerk's info, or just whatever information we can get, any school superintendents, business leaders, things like that. So, really good list that they can at least know who to contact. understand each community and get the ball rolling. But yeah, things look positive, you know, everything was good. Technology was good in that room, you know, they had an owl, it worked, seemed to work good. They had, you know, TV screens. It was a good atmosphere and a good group of people. Seemed like everybody got along well and, you know, talk about Christmas and the holidays. So yeah, look forward to that. Let's send those over to me just by email or call me and either way.
City council meeting in Garland last week and spoke about the economic development. What that looks like, the vision that they have cast for us. And so we got 2 people who were interested last week. We didn't have anybody from there before, so it was good to get as many people on there. We're kind of excited to be part of this group there anyway, so we can get more from your areas. We will make sure that we're distributing, you know, resources appropriately throughout.
Yeah, I'd like to get someone from each city or, you know, area of the county.
It doesn't have to be on the governing board. That's almost better to have somebody who's like already doing
Yep.
like chamber power.
Private business.
Yes, bankers,
Like
you
that
know.
Ledbrook,
Yep, there's a Leverage Young Women's, there, you know, there's other things too, where it's just reaching out to, and let me know too, if you know what groups, some have chambers, some have, yeah, you know, Leverage Young Women, you got, yeah, just tons of different groups in each community, so it's good to get that too, but.
I have a quick update. So regarding the owl, we got with the state and removed CrowdStrike. So we'll find out today whether or not it worked, didn't work. Okay. So CrowdStrike's not the issue.
There was one other software that was on here that's not on mine. I know what it was.
Okay. How bad
It was terrible. I switched to the laptop mic.
is it working?
Yeah, it's fine with the laptop mic.
Okay. We're going to get to the bottom of it, but we spent a lot of money on this. Make sure that,
And the 2 meetings prior, the audio was fine. So it is definitely a software issue. I can't see what else it would be. They're the identical laptops. It's got to be a software difference.
I can get to the end.
if I can get guaranteed, you know, every time on my cell phone, if I put it out there without it. Not that high technology, maybe the iPhone is. Compared to what we have here, but I can guarantee it that I'll have good quality through my cell phone.
No, I agree. I want to exhaust everything and then if I want to dump the owl, I'll be happy to dump the owl and the camera and the microphone. Connect it to the computer. We'll get to the bottom because I'm wasting our time.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. Did we hit everything? Okay, take a motion to adjourn.
So much.
I'll second that.
Move to second it. All those in favor say aye.
I
Those, we're adjourned, 9:32. Almost. Of course.
Learn anything today, Carol?